Republican Congressman Jim Jordan of Ohio joins the company now to weigh in on endless spending, but in particular, Congressman, I want to zero in on this endless bailout of Fannie and Freddie. The Senate last night said, hey, you got to keep on paying out that money. What do you feel about that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Stuart, I've said many times before, if big government spending were going to get us out of this mess, well, heck, we'd have been out of it a long time ago, because that's all the government's been doing for 2 years. So the American people know that you can't keep bailing out, spending, and solve the problem. They know that's not going to work. They know that it's the wrong path to head down, and they're frustrated by what they see. But it's not just, you mentioned earlier about it's going to be reflected in November's elections. As one of your guests mentioned that what happened yesterday. Well, it also happened Saturday with Bob Bennett. Two appropriators get beat in their primary. So the American people are so frustrated with the spending that they're taking it out right now in the electoral sense with those two examples.
So let's turn it around. Let's suppose that for whatever reason they cut off this bailout of the housing market right now, and we just let it crash. We let, as they say, we let the market clear. House prices go way down. What would voters say about that?
Well, I mean, we don't know, and I don't think anyone's suggesting that. What we're suggesting is you begin to break up Fannie and Freddie. You begin to deal with the problem. Right now, we're not dealing with the problem. We're just throwing more money after it. We're just putting the Band-Aids on it, and it's not even part of the Dodd-Senate bill. So what we're suggesting is let's at least look at it. After all, we know this is where it all started 2 years ago. Let's at least look at breaking up Fannie and Freddie. Let's look at moving in a direction that's actually going to provide some fiscal sanity to the housing market and to the lending industry. Let's move in that direction. That's what the American people want us to do, not to punt on this issue, not to pass on this. In fact, think about this. The Democrats 4 weeks ago today were supposed to, by law, have a budget resolution in place. They are going to punt on the budget. They're not even going to do the budget because they got this dilemma. They got the American people who want us to get some fiscal sanity back in our government. Well, and then they got their own president who sends them a budget that's unsustainable. So they're not even going to do the budget resolution process, which is what starts it all and sets the framework and has the debate for the American people.
But you know, every day on this program, we quote the president's approval rating. And for weeks, it's been in the high 40s. 47%, 48%. Okay, it's below the 50% cutoff, but it's holding right there. None of this news on entitlements and bailouts doesn't make any difference. He's still relatively popular.
Well, I mean, look, he's a pretty charismatic individual. I think part of that's just driven by the person that he is. But I think what we saw yesterday in West Virginia, what we saw over the weekend in Utah, I think we're going to see a lot of those same kind of things this fall in the November elections. People are going to send back, I think, to office those who understand we have to get some fiscal sanity, some common sense back in our government. The American people can't pass on a budget. They have to make decisions as a family, as small business owners, but yet they're seeing their own government not even do the budget process.
All right, Congressman Jim Jordan, Republican of Ohio. Thanks for joining us, sir. We appreciate you being with us.
Thank you, Stuart. Good to be with you.
All right, let's change tack for a second. I want to look at Macy's stock. Came in with some pretty good news. That's the company at